Children who witness domestic violence, the negative impact. Many theories have been proposed to explain the impact of domestic violence against women. While there is little research regarding the impact that witnessing this violence have on their children, children exposed to domestic violence are in our schools, in our neighborhoods, and play in our parks. Research has shown that childhood exposure to domestic violence can have an impact in practically all of a child's development and functioning. This review will define domestic violence and its many forms. It will focus on the emotional symptoms, social development, and declining health of those that have witnessed it. In defining domestic violence, it has come to be understood as an abuse of a woman by a man with whom she has or has had an intimate relationship with. Domestic violence comes in a number of forms such as physical, emotional, economic, and psychological. Physical violence is the most common violence inflicted on women. As many as 17.1 million children are exposed to domestic violence. In approximately 70 to 80% of the domestic violence occurrences, children were present. Emotional symptoms of children exposed to domestic violence include anger, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Some of the children who witness domestic violence act out in anger and aggression. Depression is also associated with witnessing domestic violence. Research shows that between 17 to 33% of school-aged children meet the criteria of post-traumatic stress disorder. Some of the long-term effects involve social development. When trauma goes without being addressed, it leads to a number of problems, including school failure, alcohol and drug abuse, and also partaking in violence. There's evidence to support that males witnessing domestic violence are more prone to become abusers in their relationships. Childhood exposure to domestic violence is shown to affect victims in adulthood with health problems including heart disease, cancer, chronic lung, and liver disease. Because of the exposure associated with witnessing domestic violence, the victims may have turned to things such as chronic smoking, drugs, and alcohol in order to cope with the anxiety that comes along with witnessing the domestic violence. And those things is what allowed them to, or what caused them actually to develop the disease in the later years. And there's a growing need for more research regarding children witnessing domestic violence and its negative impact on them in order to raise awareness and in an effort to identify the needs of these children so that they may be able to lead a productive life.